on the road against the Raiders in Week 14. Time to make a statement. What's up, Broncos country? My name is Brandon Gilchrist. Well, here we are again, the Broncos facing the Raiders for the second time in just over a month. The last time these two played, it was on primetime, and it wasn't pretty. But they got the win, and that's all that mattered at that point. This time around, I would expect that the Broncos win a little bit of redemption on that performance. Before we get into the matchup, let's talk about the word on the beat this week. Well, this week, we're celebrating our very own left tackle, Garrett Bowles, as he was named the Denver Broncos Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. This is the second time in 3 years that he's received this recognition. Garrett continues to be a pillar when it comes to community service. We talked about him a little bit earlier this season when he opened up another location for his training center focused on childhood apraxia of speech. Garrett is well deserving of this honor. He continues to give back to this community on and off the field. In other news, the Broncos signed wide receiver Elijah Moore onto the practice squad. Now, there's a little bit of excitement around this signing. The Broncos have a little bit of familiarity with Elijah Moore because he was recently on the Browns, and we most recently saw him on primetime in the 2024 season when he had himself a game against the Broncos. Known for his speed, there is a little bit of excitement on the potentiality of Elijah to be another playmaker when it comes to that wide receiver room. Courtland Sutton himself also expressed some excitement around adding Elijah to the room. It's still to be determined what we're actually going to see, if he'll be elevated this coming Sunday or in future Sundays. Sean Payton acknowledged the signing, just saying they're always looking to add talent to the room. Not really any sort of revealing information about what the plan is for Elijah at this time. All right, let's talk about this matchup. Well, the Broncos will now be traveling to Vegas to face the Raiders at the Death Star. There's been a couple changes since we saw them last, one being the firing of Chip Kelly as offensive coordinator for the Raiders. The season hasn't gotten any better since we saw them last. Geno Smith continues to get sacked regularly, and the offense is having serious trouble finding rhythm. When they do, it's in spurts, primarily through their star tight end, Brock Bowers. The Raiders currently sit at 2-10, eliminated from the playoffs, and now aim to be playing spoiler for some other teams. Pete Carroll promoted Greg Olsen as the interim offensive coordinator in Chip Kelly's place. He's previously held this same role with the Raiders in 2013 and 2014 and 2018 to 2021. Pete Carroll also fired special teams coordinator Tom McMahon after the Broncos game where there was a blocked punt. He elevated Darius Swinton as the interim special teams offensive coordinator. The Broncos are coming off an overtime thriller against the Washington Commanders, sitting at 10-2, second in the AFC, vying for that number 1 seed and first round bye in the playoffs. If the Broncos can get a win this weekend, it carries a little bit of weight. A win would secure the tiebreakers against the New England Patriots, meaning if they finish the season with the exact same record, the Broncos would actually get the number 1 seed due to wins over common opponents this season. Let's take a look at the Broncos defense versus the Raiders offense. Now, I already mentioned the change in offensive coordinator. Other than that, there really hasn't been much of a change when it comes to the Raiders offense. The Broncos defense continues to lead the league, now currently sitting at 51 sacks, keeping an eye on that all-time record. During their last performance against the Raiders, it was dominant, sacking Geno 6 times, intercepting him once, holding Brock Bowers to 1 catch for 31 yards, and Ashton Genty to 61 yards at 3.2 a carry. The Broncos are also excited to have Alex Singleton back in the fold along with Patrick Surtain. One thing we will be keeping our eye on is the rotation at cornerback number 2, with Riley Moss actually coming out for an entire series in the game against the Commanders. Is this the start of something new or a cornerback rotation, or was it really about spelling him because of some short-term undisclosed injury? Right now, it's all just speculation, but it is something we're going to be keeping our eye on. So let's cut right to it. What is the plan for all 11 on defense against the Raiders offense this time around? Well, in my mind, priority number 1 is just leave no doubt. What does this mean? We got 6 sacks last time. Let's match or beat that number this time around. Protection for Geno Smith hasn't gotten any better. We saw 10 sacks be put on Geno just a few short weeks ago when they played the Browns. The Broncos defense are sack machines. Let's see them try to meet that number. Don't allow their offense to find any rhythm. The same plan we had for Brock Bowers last time around should be repeated until they show they can change it up. And if we're putting pressure on them at the line, it's not even going to matter. Priority number 2, I'm actually going to borrow from our plan against the Commanders. Play for the turnover. Now they have Ashton Genty in the backfield, which means we need to make sure that we stop the run, but we can do that with 5 and still play great coverage on the back end. Because of the amount of pressure that we're able to create up front, varying our coverages on the back end should create some great opportunities for turnovers in the air. And I am absolutely on Jahdae Barron and Talanoa Hufanga watch when it comes to an interception. Both of them almost had interceptions in multiple games at this point. I'm banking on them getting one in this game. Let's talk about the Broncos offense versus the Raiders defense. Now we already know about the menace in the backfield on the Raiders defensive line in Max Crosby. As always, we can't allow him to be the game wrecker when it comes to the Broncos finding some rhythm this time around. We know they're going to be looking for a redemptive performance in this game considering the way it went last time. We already know that RJ Harvey is going to be the lead back for the Broncos. I want his carries to go up in this one. As always, we can't be quick to get away from the run. And the fact that RJ needs the reps before the playoffs, that should be a focus for us as an offense. Get the run game going. So what is the plan for all 11 on offense against this Raiders defense? Priority 1, create good reps. What do I mean by this? This will be a great opportunity to make sure that those fundamentals, those pre-snap reads, the way we get out the play, the operation of the offense is on point and automatic. Stay with the run, especially when it comes to any sort of short yardage situation. RJ Harvey needs the reps. Let's give him those, especially if we have the opportunity to run on 3rd or 2nd and short. Don't be afraid to play heads up, even if they know what's coming. Let's give our line and give RJ those reps. Number 2, separate from the competition. Now, what do I mean by this? Finish drives with touchdowns. We only put up 10 points against the Raiders this last game. That can't happen this time around if we're going to be a true contender when it comes playoff time. Be aggressive in both run and pass. Don't get cute. Don't play experiment because the Raiders' offense is outmatched and our defense has the potential to basically shut it down. Get the job done. Now on special teams, I know Jeremy Crawshaw is going to be looking for some redemption in this one. Let's make sure we put together a good punting day. AJ Cole had a great punting day against us, pinning us inside the 20 3 times, but the Broncos special teams also got a blocked punt last time around. All for that happening again in this one. The Broncos special teams are starting to find some rhythm. Let's keep that performance going that we've had over the last 2 weeks. Look, y'all, this is short and sweet because we've played the Raiders before. And when it comes to game planning for the Raiders, both of these teams know each other well. And this time, it really is just about showing who's the better team. And we all know that the Broncos at this point are on a different track than the Raiders are. The Raiders have had a tough year, and they would relish the opportunity to beat the Broncos, regardless of what the record is. The Broncos are a good football team, regardless of what anyone says of how it looks. You don't string together 9 wins because you're a so-so team. It may look different, but the job is to win, and that's what the Broncos do. But make no mistake, Sunday shouldn't be about just winning the game. This game needs to be about making a statement. I actually think we'll see a different type of performance from the Broncos this weekend. One we can all feel good about. What are you looking for from the Broncos' performance on Sunday? Is there a particular area of the offense or defense that you think they need to be focused on or refine? Let me know in the comments. As always, be kind. Talk to you soon, Broncos country.